Good morning, everyone. It's Cindy from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, my thoughts and contemplative time have been all about soul searching, about abiding in the self. I don't know if you've heard of that term before, but abiding in the self would be being constant in the self, and this would be the higher self. So some of you might have heard of this term before, and for many years I've heard terms like this and have never really experienced it, and these days I experience it. And of course, I'm trying to abide in the self more and more regularly to make it part of my regular life experience. And a lot of people would wonder, what is that all about and what would that feel like? And honestly, it's moving away from mind thinking. So the mind is very much about achievements, accomplishments, doing, and the soul is more about being and experiencing and living. So I came across this quotation by Jonathan Edwards, which I thought was quite fitting. And it says, "Seek not to grow in knowledge chiefly for the sake of applause and to enable you to dispute with others, but seek it for the benefit of your souls." So again, seek not to grow in knowledge chiefly for the sake of applause and to enable you to dispute with others, but seek it for the benefit of your souls. So this idea means when we're learning things, and of course, when we intellectualize things, when we're actually understanding information in terms of knowledge, sometimes it's because we want to pat on the back, go, oh, you know what that is. So you can go into my examples yesterday about being in a forest. I could go into a forest and say, this is this sort of tree, this sort of tree, this sort of tree. And someone would say, wow, that's really impressive. And if that's the reason I'm doing it, it's not useful, right? And again, to even have a name for all these things is knowledge for sure. But is it the real value of our soul's experience? So this idea of even disputing with others. So, when people get into knowledge, then it's like, I know this is the research I know, this is the information I have, and this is fact. And then someone else, especially in research, will then find a study that actually disputes that study that you have looked at or the studies you've looked at. And that will be a knowledge too. And that's about disputing. And it's again, almost like a one-upmanship with other people with knowledge. And it's not really the benefit of your soul. So then I came across another quotation by Marcel Proust. And this quotation said, "The real voyage of discovery is not in seeking new places, but in seeing with new eyes." The real voyage of discovery is not in seeking new places, but in seeing with new eyes. And this is the thing, is the knowledge that we have today is beautiful knowledge. It's wonderful. And to see things with new eyes. So this is how I feel in terms of looking at nature, looking at the world around me, or even in my own life experience. It's seeing the exact same things I've always seen. And suddenly I'm seeing with new eyes. And that's because of a lot of work in terms of my soul evolution. And that's a conscious decision to make, right? Because most people would think, well, what am I going to get from this? And the funny thing is, it's not even measurable. It's not that objective of, oh, because I did this, I'm like this. The experience is what people will know. And so then I came across another quotation, of course. And this quotation is by, I have no idea. It doesn't have an author, so it's an unknown author. And it says, "Meeting the self activates the transformation of human consciousness." Meeting the self activates the transformation of human consciousness. Now, this again is the higher self, right? Now, again, this transformation is the meeting. To go beyond that and actually start abiding in the soul is transcendence. And this is what I would love to help you achieve. If you would ever desire help from me, you know I'm here. And otherwise, I would love for you to think about, have you tried to meet your soul? Have you tried to see with the eyes of the soul? Because it's a very different and beautiful experience that I do not think is even possible through human mind. And even if you have a wonderful eye for details and you can pick out all of the details and even a single piece of, I don't know, art, anything. If you can pick out all the details, it's beautiful. But to feel transformed by it is starting to meet your higher self. And I thought, of course, you know that I love Rumi. So I felt that Rumi put it together the best in terms of the language that I really loved. Simple. It says, the desire to know your own soul will end all other desires. The desire to know your own soul will end all other desires. And I have to say, it's so very true because I can tell you that when I'm in that space, there is nothing else that I'm looking for. There is such a satisfaction, there's such a peace, there's such a contentment and such a joy that I'm amazed that I don't stay there more often because my mind wants to take over eventually, which is most of us. Luckily, my mind is getting less and less control of the situation, and my soul is starting to direct me much more often. I wish that for you, and I hope that you will think for a little while to see whether you have actually had the experience of meeting your soul and seeing through different eyes. I wish that for you today and always, and I hope you have a fantastic day ahead. And remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.